U.S. military kills 11 Tren de Aragua members. Let this serve as a good evening. If you blinked, you might have missed it. The White House just released dramatic video showing a U.S. military strike obliterating a speedboat packed with drugs. On board were 11 suspected members of Tren de Aragua, a violent gang with roots in Venezuela. None of them survived the strike in the Caribbean Sea. The message from Washington? This is only the beginning. When the Pentagon sent that fleet to the region, complete with an attack submarine, it wasn't for sightseeing cruises. Officials had been planning this for weeks, and now we're seeing the first lethal result. The drone footage is unclassified. Yes, the government wanted you to see this. For years, U.S. forces might have disabled a drug boat by shooting out its engine, or maybe the Coast Guard would board and arrest the crew. Not anymore. The new directive is clear. Destroy the threat. President Trump addressed the strike yesterday, noting that Venezuelan routes have been funneling drugs into the U.S. for a long time. His administration says the operation's broader goal is to cut off revenue to Nicolas Maduro's regime, which is estimated to pull in over $8 billion annually from narcotics sold on American streets and campuses. Most of that comes from cocaine. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reinforced the point in Miami, saying the U.S. is fully prepared to use its military might to dismantle drug cartels, no matter where they operate. And yes, that might mean it's time to dust off your old copy of Clear and Present Danger. Or at least admit you've seen the movie. No shame either way. This isn't happening in a vacuum. Remember, the administration has already placed a $50 million bounty on Maduro's head. Sending destroyers and submarines into Caribbean waters was not exactly a subtle move, and now we're seeing why. If you're trafficking drugs by sea, the Pentagon is promising you're a target. Senator Rubio believes that particular boat was likely heading first to Trinidad before its cargo would eventually land on American shores. But officials say that era is over. Anything leaving Venezuela can be considered fair game. The administration has long insisted it knows where these narco-terrorist networks are based, both inside and outside Venezuela. Unlike previous years, when U.S. policy leaned toward working with governments to rein in cartels, this White House is taking a much more direct approach. Target them wherever they are. President Trump even posted the strike video on Truth Social, signaling he's not hiding this operation, but using it to send a warning. Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is officially designated a foreign terrorist organization. Beyond drug trafficking, the gang is linked to murder, sex trafficking, and violent crime throughout the region. The president's message was blunt. Let this be notice to anyone even thinking about bringing drugs into the U.S. Beware. Analysts say the impact could be significant. Former Pentagon counsel Van Hipp pointed out that cartels may have already lost billions under Trump-era policies, thanks in part to tighter border enforcement. He compared the president's stance to Harry Truman's principle that a commander-in-chief must do whatever it takes to keep the nation from going to hell. And that's exactly the theme here, whether it's border security, fighting crime in American cities, or shutting down the drug pipelines. The administration argues that this is about saving American lives. Of course, the strike is also part of a broader show of force. The U.S. currently has multiple guided missile destroyers in the region. These ships can defend against threats from the air, land, and sea. Venezuela's military, by comparison, is much smaller and largely limited to patrol boats. In Washington's view, the U.S. holds the upper hand. Meanwhile, the administration isn't losing sight of other global flashpoints. China's massive military parade last week was meant to showcase power, but critics dismissed it as propaganda.